Hey guys, Lindsay here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Throwback Thursday. So I decided to go ahead and pick another one of the more frequently requested palettes for my second video. And it's this guy, the Saint+Sinner palette from Kat Von D. So whether or not you support her, I bought this a long time ago and we're gonna use it. So this is what the palette looks like if you forgot. I'm gonna be real honest here. One of the biggest complaints a lot of people had with this palette was the layout of the colors, and it really does bother me too. I totally get that they were going for the stained glass vibe, but when I look at this palette, similar to last week's Urban Decay Alice palette, except for this is way worse, I just look at it and I don't really feel too inspired, or I don't necessarily think of a look immediately. Now I will say, like when I look at this, usually I just want to gravitate towards one or two shades, just, you know, do something really, really simple. But I feel like thinking of anything beyond that sometimes gets a little bit difficult because the colors are just jumbled around in a bit of a unique manner. Now I did of course do a video with this palette, you know, right after it came out. And when I did the video, I filmed two looks, and one of the looks was using only the Saint side and the other look was using only the Sinner side. I do feel like that kind of helped me narrow down what shadows I was gonna use and kind of pick a look. I don't wanna do that today. I wanna do something different than the looks I've already done. So I'm gonna just play around with this. I am still gravitating towards the Sinner side just because I love these really kind of fun, bold colors. But we will see. I will play around with it, come up with something, and I'll show it to you guys. All right, I had to pin the wig back. It was starting to get a little too hot. So I'm gonna start by priming my lids with my good old Urban Decay Primer Potion. And then I'm gonna leave this tacky, which is just kind of the norm for me these days. So first color I'm gonna jump into is the orange shade, which is Devil. And I'm just gonna run this all through the crease. And then I'm gonna take this small fluffy blending brush, and I'm just gonna lightly start buffing out the edges of the orange shade with nothing on this brush. Now that that's done, I'm going to go into Exodus, which is the lime green shade. I find that it kind of comes off yellow when you're using it with a blending brush. And I'm just gonna start blending this kind of right on the top edge of the orange. And then I am going to bring this out on this outer portion of the eye, kind of like a wing. It's gonna end up getting covered up, but I want this kind of green and orange base underneath it. Then with a tiny little tapered brush, I'm going back into Devil, and I'm just gonna make sure that I didn't lose too much of the orange. So I'm just gonna blend a little bit more of that orange into it. But I'm just being a bit more precise because I don't want to lose this kind of greenish yellow color that we've got down now. And this is kind of the opportunity I have to go ahead and put this out in this little outer corner a bit more. So next up, I'm going to use Revelation, which is like one of my favorite shades. You can see the gorgeous kind of sparkle in there. This one and this one. You can just see that kind of like glitter that they have in there. And unlike something like a Too Faced shadow, the glitter's actually there the whole way through and it shows up, unless you use a blending brush. But if you use your finger or you pack it on, it shows up. So I'm just gonna take that Revelation shade and I'm just gonna kind of do a little stamp right here on the outer portion of the lid. I'm just gonna use that same little blending brush that I was using earlier with the lime color. I just used my color switch to kind of clean it off of it and just use it Revelation. And I'm gonna start lightly blending this into this little outer portion. I'm using very, very light strokes here. Go a little bit more into the lime green, just to kind of help soften where it starts. And same thing with the orange right on that little part. So I want it to kind of be a little bit of a gradient into the darker colors. I think that's about even. All right, now I'm gonna use my Tarte Shape Tape and just cut out half of the crease. I'm going about halfway and then kind of doing a little diagonal. And then I'm gonna use my finger to kind of pat that in. And then with my finger, I'm just gonna jump straight into Ashes because again, I want that sparkle to show through, and it is a matte. So I'm just gonna pat that over the top of the concealer. And then I'm gonna do it once more into the little glittery brown shade. And now that I kind of have the base of those two colors down, I'm gonna take this little tiny flat brush that I sprayed with setting spray. These are mattes, but I did find that they worked decently enough with a wet brush, I'm only dipping into the top portion of the pan just in case I mess up the shadow by wetting it, but it's my palette. I'm gonna use this just to tighten up where the cut crease area is. And it does appear like the kind of wetting of the brush really helps the glitter stand out in this gray shade a lot. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same exact thing with the brown. I'm just using the other side of the brush, just making sure it's nice and intense. And then I'm gonna start working back and forth to blend these two colors together in the center. Okay, I'm gonna take this brush from earlier back into the Revelation shade, just very, very lightly, and blend right where the crease meets. Since I stamped that color down, it's really intense right there, and I just wanna soften it just a bit, but I don't wanna take away from the lid shade. And then I did cheat a little bit because the glittery kind of color wasn't showing up as much as I really wanted it to. So I took my finger and dipped into a solution just the tiniest bit because it is like a topper shade. So I just kind of dipped my finger in there and just very lightly patted the color over the top of everything. So it doesn't like go, it doesn't do anything too crazy. I feel like it just helps a little bit. Now for the lower lash line, I'm gonna use Immaculate, which is this gorgeous kind of army green color, and I'm gonna use this on a flat angle brush that I did spray with setting spray, and I'm lining the entire lower lash line. And I prefer to do that first with a liner brush, and then I jump into that same color with a pencil brush and start buffing that color out. I feel like it just helps keep the pigment as close to the lash line as possible, and then it helps blend it out a little bit. And then to blend that out even more, I'm jumping into Martyr, same pencil brush, and I'm just gonna run that even lower. All right, let's take a little break from the shadows, and I'm gonna do my little accent line. So I originally used Starfire from Urban Decay, one of their heavy metal liners, and it's like a kind of coppery glitter, and it looked really pretty, but then I forgot that I had this Laura Mercier liner. This is the Gold Thread Liquid Eyeliner. And I'm sorry, but it just matches the gold in this palette perfectly. So I'll show you what the two of them look like side by side. So you can see what they look like side by side. You could definitely do whatever you have on hand. I just happen to have this gorgeous gold, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just doing a little line halfway across the cut crease area. And actually, now that I think about it, if you didn't have a glitter liner that you could use, you could definitely either lay down some glitter glue or just wet this relic shade. And I think you could definitely pull off doing an accent line with that, and I think it would look really good. Okay, while that's drying, I'm gonna do the lower waterline, which is going to be this orange pencil puppy from ColourPop. And then I'm just using this kind of a really dark brown pencil. This is the Starlooks brown eye pencil that we got in a BoxyCharm. I like it because it's a really dark brown, but it's not as harsh as a black, and I'm just gonna line the upper waterline. Let's finish off these eyes with the inner corner highlight, which is going to also be Relic. I'm just gonna use this kind of really fat, I guess it's a pencil brush, and I'm just gonna stamp that right into the inner corner portion. I'm going to bring it down underneath just a smidge. And then I am, of course, going to bring it up a bit, but I'm very lightly just dragging it. So it just kind of has this little gold sheen, and you still see a little bit of space between the liner. So you can kind of still see that orange showing through. So that is all for the Kat Von D shadows. So I did do one other like shadow based thing before adding liner and lashes, just because I really like that inner corner to be shimmery no matter what kind of color is in there. So I jumped into my Moon Twin palette from the Collective Cosmetics, and I used this shade right here, Emblazon. It's one of their highlighter shades. Their highlighter formula can be incredibly glittery, but when you rub it around, it just looks wet. It's actually what's on my cheek over here. I just took the tiniest little bit. You can kind of see the little glittery flakes on there. I'm just gonna take this and pat it right over the top of that gold. I just feel like it gives a little bit of extra dimension to that inner corner. And we're good. And while I have that out, because I haven't done the cheek yet, I'll kind of show you guys how beautiful this is. So again, you can see I'm just getting a little bit of these like kind of sparkly flakes on my brush. And what I like to do, I like to use a really dense brush for this and then pat it on, and then I start buffing it in. It's just really beautiful. I love these highlights. So I'm not adding any liquid liner. This is pretty much it for the eye look. I'm gonna add mascara and lashes off camera just to save a little bit of time. So I'm gonna use my Milk Kush mascara, and then for lashes, I'm using the original Iconics from House of Lashes. So I'll be right back and we'll finish up with lips. All right guys, this is the completed look. For lips, I definitely wanna kind of stick with something a little bit more on the grungy side. So I think I'm gonna use this L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Liquid Lipstick. It's one of the chocolate ones. This is the shade Bittersweet. All right, so that's all for this Throwback Thursday featuring the Kat Von D Saint+Sinner palette. Just like last time, if you guys want to see more looks with this in future Throwback Thursday videos, just say so in the comments below and I'll make sure to keep it on my list so that I will revisit it after a little while. Give it a little bit of space and then I'll revisit it again. So you guys just let me know. But otherwise, what did you think? Is this something that you guys would recreate? I definitely like that it kind of went for a more grungy vibe. I do feel like with this palette, you can either go really, really pretty or really, really grungy. So it is still a really pretty palette, even though sometimes it confuses the heck out of me when I first open up that palette. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.